Welcome to It's the Groove, the podcast that takes you under the wrapper to uncover the hidden connections in the music we love. Hi, I'm your co-host Dave, and as always, I'm joined with the 80s music muse, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. How are you today?
I'm doing good now that I'm in a cool basement.
There you go. Yeah, you've been having a little bit of heat. We've been having some heat too.
Yeah.
So, not used to this. But anyway, I think the music today will be scorching hot. So today we begin with a question. Kelly, what do the Bee Gees, the Average White Band, Aretha Franklin, Scritti, Politti, and Chaka Khan have in common?
They all have good music.
Yeah, that's right. And one of the reasons for that could be potentially Arif Mardin, a producer who worked with all of those acts as well as many, many more, and whose touch transformed good songs into timeless classics. From his early days at Atlantic Records to shaping the soundscapes of artists like Aretha, Chaka, and the Bee Gees, Mardin's genius was in knowing exactly how to bring out the best in an artist. His work wasn't just about hit records. It was about crafting emotion, depth, and stories through sound. Today, we're going to explore the brilliance of the man who was once referred to as having the best ears in town. The man behind the music as arguably the most accomplished arranger-producer of the past half-century. The genius responsible for everything from Barry Gibb's career-altering falsetto, the stratospheric launch of the Average White Band, and the equally meteoric blast-off of Chaka Khan. Interesting backstory, Arif was born in Istanbul, Turkey, into a renowned family. His father was a business owner. As a child and young adult, he became fascinated by jazz. He actually met Quincy Jones at a concert in Ankara and later sent him several arrangements. This led to Arif becoming the very first recipient of the Quincy Jones Scholarship at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. He began his career in 1963 as an assistant to the co-founder of Atlantic Records, the Shui Erdogan, and he quickly rose through the ranks and became vice president by 1969. Together with Jerry Wexler and Tom Dowd, he helped craft the Atlantic sound. So to get us started, as we usually do, we'll go with ladies first. So, Kelly, what do you have to start us off?
I have Jive Talkin' by the Bee Gees. It was written by Maurice, Barry, and Robin Gibb. It marked the Bee Gees' return to the charts, hitting number 1 on Billboard Hot 100 and top 5 in the UK. First major U.S. hit since 1971's How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? The song was originally called Drive Talking, inspired by the sound of their car tires crossing the Julia Tuttle Causeway in Miami on the way to Criteria Studios. Maurice recalled Barry singing rhythmically to the car's bounce, jive talking. Arif Mardin was the producer of Jive Talkin' and the main course album. He introduced the Bee Gees to new musical territory, especially funk and R&B grooves. Maurice explained, "We played it for Arif, and he went, 'Do you know what Jive Talkin' means?' And we said, 'Well, yeah, it's, you're dancing.' And he says, well, I know this is a family program, but I'm going to say it anyway. Cover your ears, kids. Arif explained, no, it's a Black expression for bullshitting. And we went, oh, really? Jive talking? You're telling me lies. And we changed it. Maurice goes on to describe how Arif gave them the groove, the tempo, and everything. Barry Gibb played the distinctive scratchy guitar intro. Maurice Gibb laid down the funky bass line. Keyboardist Blue Weaver overdubbed the synth bass line using the ARP 2600. The beat features echoes of Bo Diddley, Kool and the Gang, and KC and the Sunshine Band. Okay, do you have anything to say about this song?
Oh, God. You know what? Two things. Number one, it's impossible for anybody that's like, didn't go through that time frame. You have no idea how huge the Bee Gees were. And this is kind of like, that was kind of the very beginning of that, right? And then the second thing is, I heard the story that Barry was, singing a part of it, and Arif says, well, sing it an octave higher. And Barry's like, I can't, that's the end of my range. But he found his falsetto. And if you then listen, I mean, that becomes characteristic of a lot of the Bee Gees songs there in the late 70s, when the Bee Gees were the bomb. I mean, they were like Michael Jackson before Michael Jackson, so that's how big they were. So yeah, great song. Let's take a listen to Jive Talking.
Okay, Dave, what do you have?
Well, Kelly, I've been after you for a long time to do an episode about the Average White Band. So since Arif was instrumental, pun intended, to the band's early success, we'll use this as an opportunity to showcase a few of their songs. First, a little about the band. I remember when I first heard this band, I thought, there's no way they're white. They're not average and they're not white. This is as funky as it gets. But sure enough, AWB is a band of white guys from Scotland who laid down some serious funk in the mid-70s. Average White Band featured Alan Gorey on vocals, bass, and guitar, Hamish Stewart, who traded off with Gorey on bass and guitar and shared vocals, Roger Ball on keys, alto, and baritone sax, Malcolm Molly Duncan on tenor and soprano sax and flute, Owen Ani McIntyre on guitar and background vocals, and drummer Robbie McIntosh. Now, the band would suffer a serious loss when McIntosh, the provider of crackling licks and a relentlessly solid foundation, died of an accidental accidental drug overdose in 1974. Fortunately, AWB was able to attract Steve Ferrone to fill that seat for the next decade or so. The band came to America to record their second album and were fortunate to be paired with Atlantic Records' Arif Mardin. Here's Arif, quote, "The energy of the band was special," he says. "All we had to do was get it on tape. Fortunately, we developed an instant friendship, and that showed in the music we recorded. As far as mixing the album, I used a distinct formula that was given to me by Tom Dowd. We'd put the bass nearly equal to the vocals in the mix using an oscillator to check levels. Then we'd drop the kick drum 1 to 2 decibels softer. Today, the kick leads," end of quote. If Martin downplays his own contribution to the band's success, then McIntyre has another opinion, and here I quote again. "It's true that our records were very much a band effort with Robbie at the helm. Arif saw the strength in that and made few changes. But I recently heard the original versions, and Arif's contribution to the later, better versions was clear. He tightened up the arrangements and beefed up the horn section," end of quote. And that's exactly what we hear on Cut the Cake. I mean, you hear those double saxophones, and you know me, Mr. Saxophone. I love that. And you absolutely hear that. So Cut the Cake was nominated for the Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals at the 1976 Grammy Awards. Unfortunately, it lost to Shining Star by Earth, Wind & Fire. Cut the Cake reached number 7 on the U.S. R&B chart, number 10 on the U.S. pop chart, and number 13 on the U.S. dance chart. Kelly, any thoughts about Cut the Cake?
Oh, it's one of the funkiest records ever. I love it.
I have been known to sing along with that. Not well. So let's listen to Cut the Cake.
I have a couple of songs from the Soul Searching album by the Average White Band. First one is Queen of My Soul. The Soul Searching album was released on June 24th, 1976. It was produced by Arif Mardin. It's a classic blend of soul, funk, and R&B. Timeless tracks still heard at cookouts and parties today. Queen of My Soul was written by Hamish Stewart. It charted at number 40 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and number 21 on the R&B chart. It's a smooth, soulful anthem that remains a fan favorite.
You know, you're right. I mean, it's more of kind of like a soulful ballad, isn't it? Yeah, and that's a neat counterpoint to Cut the Cake. So yes, I do love this one, and a great song.
All right, let's listen to Queen of My Soul. Okay, now we're going to talk about A Love of Your Own, written by Hamish Stewart and Ned Doheny, charted at number 101 on the U.S. chart and number 35 on the R&B chart. It's a heartfelt mellow groove that's perfect for slow dancing and chilling out. I was lucky enough to see Average White Band with my mom around 2011. They were touring with Frankie Beverly and Maze, and it was an unforgettable show. This soul-searching album brings back childhood memories, and these songs were always playing at family gatherings. I sadly discovered during my research that Average White Band has retired. They retired in 2024. So I am so grateful to have been able to see them.
I know Mom's listening, so I'm glad you got to see them with her. And man, that was on my bucket list because that's one that I never got to see, and I kind of always wanted to see him. So, yeah, great songs.
Okay, let's listen to A Love of Your Own. Okay, what do you have?
One quick thing, Kelly, I want to put in a plug here that you mentioned A Love of Your Own was written by Hamish Stewart and Ned Doheny. Ned Doheny is one of those real hidden connections, and I'm putting in a plug right now to say at some point that It's the Groove is going to do an episode on him. So just keep that in mind.
Just add that to the list.
Yeah, that's right. His follow-on to Boys in the Trees album was entitled Spy. Vengeance is the next song we're going to listen, was the lead track for the album. Again, produced by Arif Mardin, the song was notable for being only the second music video by a solo female artist shown on MTV's first day on air, second only to Pat Benatar. MTV also used a clip from the video to entice their audience to get stereo sound on their TVs. You know, we take that for granted today, but back in the late 70s and 80s, oh man, you had this little speaker on your TV, you know. So anyway, so Cashbox said that the song Vengeance has an urban rock feeling with ominous guitar chording, saying that Simon's vocals are sharp and bold, but less restrained than usual. The single was a moderate success on the Billboard Pop Singles chart, peaking right under the top 40 at number 48. Simon received another Grammy Award nomination for Best Rock Vocal Performance Female at 1980 Grammy Awards. Now, personnel for Vengeance included Steely Dan alums Don Grolnick on keys, friend of the program Dr. Steve Gadd and Rick Murata on drums, and a horn section featuring David Sanborn and Michael Brecker on alto and tenor sax, respectively, and Michael's brother Randy Brecker on trumpet. Kelly, any thoughts about Vengeance?
Oh, it's a fantastic song.
Let's take a listen. Okay, Kelly, what's next?
I have Until You Come Back to Me, That's What I'm Gonna Do by Aretha Franklin. It was written by Morris Broadmax, Clarence Paul, and Stevie Wonder. It was first recorded by Stevie in 1967, but it remained unreleased until 1977. The best-known version is Aretha's version. It was co-produced by Arif Mardin. He also did the horn and string arrangement. This song charted at number 1 on the R&B chart, number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and a certified gold. It featured top-tier session musicians. Listen to this list: Donny Hathaway on electric piano, Hugh McCracken on guitar, Bernard Purdie on drums, and Chuck Rainey on electric bass.
That's like an all-star team right there, you know?
Mm-hmm. Can't get any better than that.
Nope.
It's a great example of Mardin's ability to blend soul, orchestration, and groove seamlessly. What do you think about Until You Come Back to Me?
That was one of the first, pop songs I can remember. I mean, I started maybe listening to, pop radio back in the early 70s. And I just remember that as being a really cool song. Loved it. Couldn't
it's
wait.
My favorite. It's my favorite by Aretha. It's just flawless to me.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's listen to Until You Come Back to Me. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, what's next?
Well, Kelly, during the late 60s and 70s, rock dominated the music landscape, overshadowing other genres. But as the industry shifted, major labels began to re-engage with established jazz acts, while underground movements like new wave, acid jazz, and neo-bop flourished. Artists like Wynton Marsalis, Miles Davis, and even the Loose Tubes helped bring jazz back to primetime TV. But if there was a singular moment that reignited jazz's mainstream presence, it may have come with Chaka Khan's "And the Melody Still Lingers On" Night in Tunisia, the dramatic centerpiece of her "What You Gonna Do for Me" album. Now, we've already done quite a bit on Chaka, but I wanted to take a special mention of this song because the idea was Arif Mardin's, conceived as his mind wandered during a cross-country flight between New York and L.A. Chaka's What You Gonna Do For Me album needed one more song, and he proposed a tribute to the bebop masters of the 40s, featuring the finest R&B and jazz session players of the 80s. So Dizzy Gillespie and Frank Paparelli's 1942 bebop classic, A Night in Tunisia, would serve as the foundation. Chaka loved the concept. Mardin initially sought a lyricist, but as deadlines loomed, he stepped in himself, with Chaka refining the final touches. His arrangement cheekily incorporated Charlie Parker's iconic 1946 alto break. So they had an all-star lineup of musicians, as you would guess. David Foster and Ronnie Foster, no relation, on keys, Abraham Laboriel on bass, and Paulina DaCosta on percussion. The musicians locked in and nailed the tune in a single take. Herbie Hancock later contributed a brilliant synth solo, while Chaka elevated the track with her sublime vocals, soaring harmonies, and electrifying ad-libs. Still, something was missing, a solo for the final verse. So Mardin sent the demo to Dizzy Gillespie, hoping he'd contribute. Initially, the bebop legend declined, citing his tour schedule. But just 2 days before the album's mastering deadline, he arrived unexpectedly at New York's Atlantic Studios and recorded his part, completing a track destined for history. So, Kelly, any thoughts about And the Melody Still Lingers On?
It's just amazing how his mind works and the creativity, the things he was able to come up with. It's just genius.
Yeah, and you know, I remember like listening to that song, and it's like, you know, I didn't even understand the backstory until I did a little research, but I'm like, this is such a cool song. So let's take a listen to And the Melody Still Lingers On, Night in Tunisia.
Dizzy and Bird gave us this song. They called it A Night in Tunisia, and the melody still lingers on. It was still very strange, through the squares right off the stage.
Okay, Kelly, what's last on our list for today?
Last on the list, but certainly not least, is Absolute by Scritti Politti.
I knew it. We had to get Scritti in there somewhere, didn't we?
It was released in May of 1984. The song was later featured on the acclaimed album, the masterpiece Cupid and Psyche 85, released in June 1985. Of course, if you're a frequent listener to this podcast, you know Absolute is my favorite song from the album. Arif Mardin produced the track, bringing his legendary touch to the band's evolving sound. It reached number 17 on the UK singles charts. It did not chart in the US, which is a crime. Followed the success of the hit single Would-Be's, Pray Like Aretha Franklin. Green Gartside, Scritti's frontman, handpicked Mardin for Cupid and Psyche 85. Green told the NME he was the producer I most wanted to work with. We sent him some demos, and he liked them very much and wanted to do it. It was his work with people like Chaka Khan and over the past few years that made me want to work with him. Gartside was drawn to Mardin's work with Chaka Khan and admired his technical expertise, ability to blend genres, and work with diverse artists. Mardin was patient and encouraging. That's the approach that Green was looking for because he was not comfortable or confident in his abilities as a songwriter and singer at the time. Mardin helped shape the sleek, experimental pop sound of Cupid and Psyche 85. He provided the confidence and support Gartside needed to push the sonic boundaries, and he balanced precision and creativity, making him an ideal producer for a complex and polished album.
You know, you actually I credit you with this episode because you, I think because of Arif's, work with Green on Cupid and Psyche, you called this kind of to my attention. And as we started digging in, we found his work with all these other artists. So, I give you a lot of credit for identifying Arif as being kind of the secret sauce behind Cupid and Psyche.
Yes. Thank you. Let's listen to Absolute.
Absolute on power drive. Need you so to keep me alive. Absolute, I long for you. A girl to make a dream come true. Oh, baby, understand.
Okay, Kelly. Well, do you have any concluding thoughts about Arif?
Arif Mardin's legacy is undeniable. From soul to jazz to pop, he shaped the sound of generations. His work with artists like Average White Band, Chaka Khan, Aretha, and others included in this episode shows just how deeply he understood groove, emotion, and musical storytelling. Thanks so much for listening. If you haven't already, go back and check out the songs we shared and dig a little deeper into Arif's incredible catalog. There's so much more to discover. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow and subscribe to It's the Groove. More timeless music and stories are coming your way.
And remember, it's not the beat, it's the groove. Thanks for listening.